Hi everyone, Sandy here for Country Craft Creations with my third project using the Graphic 45 Love Notes paper collection. This is made out of scraps from what I had left over from my design package. I am calling this a scrap, in quotation, scrap book because it's made out of scraps of paper. This is really quick and easy, and I will have a tutorial for this. I don't normally do a tutorial on my third project. Usually it's cards or tags, which are self-explanatory. But for this one, I am going to do a free tutorial on it as well. So this one measures 6 inches by 4. So let me show you right quick what this little scrapbook or junk journal looks like. You might call it a junk journal. I used the ribbon. Here, closure on the side. Untie that. I did put chipboard, tied chipboard tags on the end, and then I matted them with solid paper on the back so it didn't have the chipboard look, and then I added a sticker, the same sticker on the back for that box. So when you open this up, and try to make sure I stay in frame, you will notice that it doesn't actually have album hinges. It's just the pages free floating in there, and I'll show you how in the tutorial how to make it. So here I matted all the pages in this book, though they're made out of pattern paper. Some are matted, some are just the paper that I used to construct the page. Photo mats and the gemstones. This is a hinge here that I made out of the pattern paper that holds this cut apart. And that's folded in half, and then a little photo mat. This is a sticker frame and a little mat under there, which is part of the cut apart, and some more stickers. I made a pocket out of a cut apart, just glue on the sides and the bottom, added some more cut aparts. This is a strip of stamps cut aparts, folded it just one over, and then stick that down inside the pocket like that. Here is a tuck spot made out of sticker with cut apart and a photo mat that tucks down in there. Here's the hinge here that holds these two cut aparts together into the book, and then I glued them on the ends to create a pocket. So there's a cut apart there. No, that's ephemera card with journaling spot on the back. A larger ephemera card, journaling card, you fold it in half, and so it gives you an opportunity to do some journaling in there. Need to make sure that I get it into the pocket so I don't lose it. There we go. Oops, let me pull it down. I kind of slide to the front. I wish I had an alarm that would tell me that I'm getting out of frame. So here is a photo mat, again with the gemstones. This is a pocket made out of just a scrap of paper, glued on the sides and the bottom. Chipboard piece, gemstones, and I made a tag out of a scrap of paper. And this is 2 tuck spots, one at the top and one at the bottom. This is a cut apart, this is a sticker, and the photo mat just slides underneath. And the pattern paper is actually the page, so it's scored right here in the middle, and I'll show you how to do that. This one has a belly band with a sticker in the center. I put a photo mat behind it with the gemstones, and then this is just a fold out of a scrap of paper and added a sticker right there on the front. Here's another hinge to add in another cut apart page. This is the stamps repeated. Cut apart paper here made this pocket. Scrap of paper, you just fold it up around the corners, add a sticker and some gemstones, and another tag out of a scrap back here. Photo mat. Flip this one over. This is one of my favorites. I added, I'm going to take these out and then I'll show you how it goes together. I created a very wide belly band that opens on both sides. And then I took this journaling ephemera card and double scored it so it would lay flat. So this side folds in here. That. And then this is also a cut apart page that I folded half and double scored. So it lays flat and it tucks into that belly band here on the right, and they fold over each other like that. Another hinge to hold another cut apart. Photo mat on the back side. photo mat back here with the gemstones, belly band out of a scrap of paper of the keynotes, keyboard, and then another cut apart here just slides in. And this one has a chipboard swing tab that goes out, but then it also has a paper clip that I tied some of the seam binding ribbon on, and so this just folds out like that, and then so you have the opposite side, and then comes back in. This folds around over it to hold it, and this secures it on the right side. So I love how that turned out. And then I put a sticker here with another gemstone, and this is a cut apart oval right there. I used a hinge, made a hinge out of it on one side and attached it down onto the hinge. And here is a ephemera card folded in half again. More journaling places. And on this page, I put a photo mat down and then built up a pocket or a tuck spot above it. These are stickers, some of the paper cut apart, different scraps, and that just tucks into the keyboard right there, that photo mat. Here's another pocket out of a scrap of paper. I added a border here with the keyboard. Chipboard says music. It just has a photo mat in there and a short tag that I made. And here on the last page, I created a fold out that is held by a magnet, has a chipboard on it. This is made out of scraps of the cardstock and pattern paper. This just folds out this way for 3 photos and this way for 3 photos. So that's a lot of fun to have in there, and it just folds up and closes with the magnet. So there's the little scrapbook, junk journal book, and I will show you it fits inside. Let me tie this up. It will fit perfectly as long as you keep your flowers not too thick. Chipboard pieces. These will be swung back in. Oops. Okay, so let me grab the box. Here's the box. Can't see it very well in here, but when I open the drawer, as long as the flowers aren't too thick, this lays inside and it will close. So there you go. So I'm going to show you how to make it. Get this back out because this is what we're working on. I do have a separate tutorial on the Secretary Writer's Desk box and on the album here that goes inside the top of the box right there. So I do have separate tutorials for those. Just check for those on my YouTube channel. They're all in a playlist, so they're easy to find. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take some sheets from the Patterns and Solids. Sorry, I was just thinking. And I'm going to trim off the brand strip. So we actually have it 12 by 12. Just like that. Take that off. And then I'm going to cut this in half at 6. And that's 2 of them. And then I'm going to cut it off at, let's see, 8. Save these. So I'm going to fold these in half. Now you can score them at 4 inches or just fold them. Probably be better to score. Let me grab my scoreboard. Because we want them as straight as we can. Put this in. So you see this is a solid on one side. Score it at 4. And then fold and burnish that. And again, same on this piece. Fold and burnish that. I just did it the opposite direction for no particular reason. Okay, so these are some of our main pages. I think I'm going to cut another one. Let's see what we got here. We've got this orange pattern with the cream color. So I'm going to start off by just doing 2 sheets of the paper and fold these so that I have 4 folded booklets. Oops, I didn't quite cut right. Okay, so I want this to go, so this, got to pay attention to direction on this. So this should be the 6-inch. Hope I'm doing it right. 6 inches and then 8. So yeah, that's correct. And that's, of course, save the scraps. And then I'm going to score these at 4 inches. To do the same direction. Fold them up the same direction. Okay. Burnish that. I'm going to leave this right here in case I need to do some more scoring. So put my mat down. Okay. So we're going to put this one first, this one second, this one third, and then that one last. So these are 4 together here. I don't know if I want more or not. Okay. So now we need to hinge them together, and then we also need to add in some little elements in here within this. So next I've taken a scrap of the patterns in solid paper, and I'm going to cut this down to 3/4 of an inch strips. So it's 3/4 of an inch by about almost 5. We're going to trim these down as we need them. So 3/4 of an inch. Cut several little strips here. I don't know how many I'm going to need, so I want to make sure I have plenty. 3/4 of an inch. And you can use different papers if you want to. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to start. And you can score these in half. Let's see. That would be at 3/8. I'm going to see, I think maybe it's just as easy to just fold them in half. And burnish them with your bone folder. So you just fold them in half and get a good crease. This is what we're going to hinge our pages and our flaps together in our book. Maybe it's easier to score. Let me see. These are really skinny, but we're going to give it a try. 3/8 would be where you need it. That is just this valley just past the 1/4 inch one. And then fold them. So that's a little easier. So I'm going to go ahead and score all these at 3/8 of an inch, which is exactly in half of your 3/4. So it's that line that's between your 1/4 inch mark and your 1/2 inch mark here on your scoreboard if you're using a score pal. Okay, so we've got all of those for now. Now your book is going to be different than mine because it depends on your scraps and what you have left over. So I'm going to take this one first. I'm going to turn it so that it is got the opening to the left right there. And let's see what we got in here we could use. This is going to have to be trimmed down. I'm just thinking, what have I got I could do? I wonder how that would work. Let's fold that in half. This is a cut apart that I didn't cut all the way. So I have the two small ones here and this long one here. So I have folded it like that. Now you're going to take one of your strips. I'm going to fold it with the print to the inside because I think I want the print to show. And I am just going to glue that right along to the folded edge of this piece that I just folded. So on one side, put the fold along the fold. Now this is not the same length, and that's okay. I'm just going to kind of center it and burnish it. So that gives, using the pattern paper for your hinges, gives us a little bit of a patterned edge here. Now we're going to put glue on this other part of the hinge, and we're going to place this along the fold of the first booklet of the pattern paper here. Just like that. So you see, by using the pattern paper, now you do have to be careful scoring these little hinges in pattern paper. You don't want to tear it up. So that's the first set right there, like that. I'm going to take another hinge. And we're going to glue it, the fold, towards the folds. Just glue on one side. Kind of center it top and bottom. So you've got the fold on there. Fold it back, glue on the hinge. And then take your next book set and attach it and line it up as straight as you can. Okay, let that dry. So leave it turned so that the opening is to your left. This is right here, okay? So I'm gonna look and see what we've got. We've got this one. I'm just gonna leave it one loose page. So let's get the hinge. We're gonna put the hinge, like the pattern where it's showing. So put the pattern in the center of your hinge. Put glue on the one half of your hinge, and then fold on the left edge of your pattern paper or piece that you've got. So this is more cut aparts that are still together, but I'm going to leave it as a full sheet here. Just like that. Fold that down. Glue on the hinge. And then we're going to take this, put the fold of the hinge along the fold edge of this booklet that we're making, and burnish. And then we're ready to put the next set on. Right there, so we need another hinge. Put this right on here. Push that down. Glue on the hinge, and then your booklet section. For my next insert, I took one of the cut-aparts, not cut-apart, I'm sorry, a ephemera card, journaling ephemera card, and folded it in half so that this part's in the center, the postcard journaling part's on the outside. I attached a hinge right along the edge, and now I'm going to stick it in here with this one. So glue on the hinge. And I've got to attach it to this one. Got myself mixed up here. I'm going to attach it to this one, then I need another hinge. So you need a hinge on the front side and the back side, just like that. Make sure they're lined up before you move them. So there's going to be one here as well. So let me fold this in. This is shorter than the ones we've been adding, so this will need to be trimmed, and I just used my scissors. Glue on one half the hinge. Put it towards the fold of the piece. And burnish that in. Okay, now I'm wondering if, now then, I'm going to make the hinge here. It's already on this. I'm going to just fold it. And I'm going to attach it onto the hinge. So I'm going to trim this to about 1/4 of an inch. Put glue on that part, and then attach it to the hinge, and I'm going to put it down at the bottom here, maybe right along that fold, just like that. That opens up like that, and that opens up like that. And now I'm going to put glue on this hinge. And I'm going to put it into this booklet. Line them up. So how many of these could we put into one book? I don't know. I think I'm going to stop on that one. I don't want it super thick. Let me see here what we want to do. Oops. Okay, so that's how that looks. So you got it. You flip it here. You got this little flip in here that you could turn into a pocket if you wanted to. Why don't we do that? I think this one needs trim just a smidge. Okay, now then we can glue just the bottom and top edge. And this will make a side pocket. And then we can stick some of our cards in here. I'm just going to stick it out a little bit. We'll turn it sideways. That's a cut apart. Let's see what this one does. That one fits. Let's do this one. This one goes in like that. And it will fit, I think, within the book. And do I have some more of these smaller ones left with the journaling lines? Not, we'll fold this one in half. Burnish it. Stick that in the pocket. Just like that. Okay. And we have another solid page, and then we have a short flat page we can add a pocket to. So, how do I love thee? I'm going to cut this one. Glue on the ends across the bottom. Just attach it right in here. I should trim it just a little bit. Make sure that it fits good. Well, another trimming the black off of both ends. More glue. A tip: try fit and see how it fits first before you add the glue. Okay, now that works. And burnish that. Another flip that we could add in. And so here in these middles, you can actually, I think, be okay to add another page. Do we already have that one? No. So I'm going to trim this one down. The hinge, I'm trimming the hinge. And I'm going to glue it to this side. Oops, make sure you put the fold towards the left edge here. Ink that. And I'm just going to attach it on this hinge. So this is within the fold of the booklets that we cut and fold, are the pieces. Right like that, just to the inside of this fold line. Let that dry before you close it up. So that's going to flip in there. And then we have those. Okay. Those are kind of sticking out a little far if they slip out. Okay, so I think I'm going to put a bow, not a bow, but a ribbon closure. So I'm going to find my ribbon that I want to use. I have some. Is this long enough? No. Cut this in half. Because I'm going to put something on here, so I'm going to take score tape. And I'm going to secure this ribbon right here in the center. A couple pieces of tape. And turn it over, add one to the back. I'm going to tie this up just to keep it out of the way. And then I'm going to add something to the front here and the back. So let's see what we have. This one, this is the one I liked. So yeah, I'm going to put that one on the front. I'm going to take this tape backing off. Add some glue to the cut apart. I'm going to center that right there. And let's find something for the back here. I'm going to trim this down. Trim this down just a little bit. Making it about 3.5 by 5.5. See how that looks. And it's going to go down right over that. Okay. I'm going to continue working on this project by adding in different flips and flaps, fold out booklets, flat pockets, making tags, using all my scraps. Your book will look different because you'll be using different scraps and things for yours, but you'll use this basic technique. I'm going to be adding some pattern papers in some sections and just some pockets and different things. So use yours. You can watch this video. I'm going to leave it running, but I'm going to speed it up to save some time. In certain places where I will be making a special booklet or something, I will slow it down and explain what I'm doing. And then at the end, I'll show you how to put a cover on your spine and how I decorate the front of my album. I've cut down a scrap of paper to about, it's about 4 3/4 by 2 inches. And I have this punch that I have in my stash. It has to be for 2-inch paper to punch a tag topper. Just like that. So that's going to go in there. I'll probably add some ribbon. Let's see what color ribbon we've got. We cut off a piece of the beige here that I still have left. And I'm going to just feed that through there. It's just making a quick tag. May add some stickers or something to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten a knot. I don't like it to come undone. Also, a knot makes it kind of spread out the tails a little better. That's going to tuck in right there. So let's see what we've got in stickers that maybe might work on it. My desk has become quite a mess here. First of all, I added this large belly band, and then I added strips of paper in contrast to just decorate it up. And what I did with this ephemera card is I folded it in half, and then I scored it an 1/8 of an inch from that score line. So you see it's an offset score because I'm just using it for a flap. And if you put this second score line flat on the top like that, insert this in the under the belly band, well, it will lay down flat without popping up a lot. You don't need magnets. So I took one of the cut-aparts that I had. I was going to put in the pocket earlier, and then I took it out. Did the same thing. I scored it, then scored it 1/8 of an inch from the score line. And if you keep this extra second score line on the top, you just flatten it out. And I'm going to insert this from the other direction. So I have like a double flap that is not attached down, and it doesn't have magnets. And it lays down pretty flat like that. So that works just fine. Then we have this one that flips over. So I've cut a photo mat here, so I'm going to keep working. And I am going to use a corner rounder. I'm using the 1/4 inch. Now, for those of you who have, I read that some of you, I saw on the Scrapbookers or Country Craft Creations that some of you have these and don't understand how to use it. Now, first of all, I revised mine. It has a door on it that keeps all the little clippings in, but I would forget to open the door and empty them out, and they get all jammed in. So I took my door off, and I kept them for a while, and then I threw them away. So I have no door. So when I punch, if I just turn it upside down on my table or shake it over my trash can, all those little bits come out. Now, when you get it, the wings are flat. You open your wings, just like that, and you'll see the mark. This side is a 1/4 inch, and this side is a 1/2 inch corner rounder. They come in different patterns and designs, but they'll always be marked. So I'm using the 1/4 inch. So I take my paper with the 1/4 inch, turn it so that it's at the top here, insert the corner all the way in, make sure your wings are open, insert it all the way in so that the corner stops. It's flush here and it's flush over there, and you just punch. And you do that on all the corners you want to punch. Real quick, real easy. These are great. They will go through chipboard in several thicknesses of paper. So I'm just going to keep working and speed up this video. So what I did on this little page is I created a fold out with a scrap of paper that was 12 inches long, 3 inches tall, and I scored the 12-inch side at 3 inches, 6 inches, and 9 inches, then accordion folded it, and then created a little hinge and attached it to this page. So now what I'm doing is taking a very small chipboard tag from the collection, and I am attaching a brad through it so that it will come through the other side right along the edge of that photo mat. So I should have thought of this before I put the photo mat down, but it's going to work out okay. So I'm taking my piercing tool. I'm going to place this little chipboard piece here with the rose on it, and I'm just going to poke one hole through it, and then I will put the brad in. Once you have the brad pushed all the way through, make sure you turn the prongs so that they are open up parallel to the page, so it'll make it easier to cover on the other side. So when you fold up your little booklet, swing this chipboard piece around and it will hold it down. Now it's still loose on this side here on the right, and I'll think of something for that. So now we have this brad on the back side. You see where I placed it so that it missed the photo mat. So I'm taking a piece of the keyboard paper and I'm going to cut it down to fit across that, and I'm cutting it so that it extends beyond both sides of the photo mat and I'm going to make a belly band out of it. So I'm just deciding, do I want it this wide or do I want to trim it down to just a couple of keyboards. So I am going to trim it. So it'll end up being about 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch tall. And then I'm just going to glue on each end, and it will cover the prongs of the brad on the back side. So everything worked out okay that way. So I'm just going to make sure, line it up straight. Okay, so looks like it's going to work okay to me. Have a little bit of it just to trim off that's sticking out a little bit beyond. And I'm just going to burnish that down really well on the sides. So I have a cut apart here that I trimmed down, and I want to see if it fits in here. So it slides underneath that belly band and fits between those gold gemstones that I put. So I think I may trim just a little more off to make it easier to slide. So I'm just using my scissors to trim off a little bit more of the black on both sides and across the bottom and the top of the cut apart. So you just trim it so that it fits in what you've created for your page. Okay, so now it fits perfect, and I'm ready to go ahead and finish working on this little fold out on the right side to hold that down. I don't like how it is kind of poking up there on the right, so I want to create something that will hold that down as well. So I'm thinking of cutting a scrap piece of paper that will serve as a mat underneath, and then fold it over and attaching it down with a clip. So I'm looking for a scrap of paper right now that I think will work, and I need to cut it down to the 3 inches tall. I think I'll use this side of the paper. So I'm going to cut it. I'm measuring here to make sure 3 inches. Cut off down to that height, and it is just a scrap of paper, so whatever you have, it doesn't have to exactly match the width, the length that I'm doing. So here it's going to work like that, and I'm going to turn it this way and glue it in onto the page as like a photo mat, and make sure it's lined up. Then I'm going to fold it over and create a flap. So I'm using my bone folder to burnish that fold. And I'm just double checking, and I'm going to trim down just a little bit to even it out to where I want it to hit. And I am rounding the 2 corners of the little flap with my Corner Chomper. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a double score to see if I can help make it lay down. I don't know if that will work. I'm still thinking that I'll probably add a paper clip onto this flap to help hold it on the right side. But I'm going to go ahead and do a double score to make that flap lay down a little bit flatter. I think because of the thickness of this little booklet here that it won't hold it down. But we're going to glue it in and see like that. And you might be okay with it popping up a little bit. I'm definitely going to use a clip on mine. Here I've taken a circle clip from my stash and I am tying a piece of the seam binding ribbon onto it and creating a clip, paper clip, to just hold that right side, hold that flap down on the right side. So for these 2 pages, and also you'll notice I kind of, well, you can't see the whole side, I cleaned up around my work table. Got rid of a lot of trash. I tend to throw things everywhere, so it's a lot better now. So I've cut 2 pieces of pattern paper that I'm going to put on these 2 pages. And then I think I'm going to have a pocket on one, and then I'm going to make this fold out thing for the other side. So let's put this down. It's getting a little thick, a little harder to work with, but these are one of these things I don't know what I'm going to do. So if I had known, I could have done some patterning before I put the pages together. But then if you have your hinges and so on that you want to cover, but that doesn't always work, right? So I cut these down 1/4 of an inch each direction, smaller than the actual page. So the page is 4 by 6, so this is cut 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. Give me that 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. If you don't want that wider border, then you would cut off an 1/8 of an inch shorter than what the actual original size is. So I'm going to glue these down right quick. This one's a little bit harder, so try to get it on as straight as I can. That looks fine. Okay, so this one I am going to go ahead and put a little pocket. And I think I need to trim this one down about 1/8. So I had it at, yeah, cut it down a little bit more on this one so that it fits. And go ahead, almost trim down too much, but that'll be okay. So I'm going to put glue on the bottom and both ends, right like this. So right there and right along there. Then burnish that down. So on this side I'm going to make a fold out booklet. Okay, so what I've done is I took a piece of cardstock. I had this piece left over, and it is 5 inches tall by 12 inches wide. I scored it at 3, 6, and 9, and then folded it up and burnished it. So this makes a booklet that's going to go down into the page. But I want to make sure that we can keep it closed. So I took a piece of scrap. When I cut that down to 5 inches, it was actually about a 6 1/4. Well, it was actually a 6-inch piece, and this is about 1 inch it's cut off, and I had scored it at the same time. So it's scored at 3, 6, and 9. Now I'm going to double it up here on the right side. Ink, yeah, well, just on one end, double it up, and I'm going to put glue on that. And close that up. And this is going to go like this. This thicker one on the top so it can pull up. It has a little more thickness. And so it's going to be like a band. So it's going to glue to the back of this. So I'm just going to put glue in this one single section here. And I want the booklet to open up this way, so I'm going to lay this in here. So that it attaches to just the back side. Just like that, so it's attached on the back. Now you don't have to put any pattern paper back here, because this is going to go into the book. And I am going to use a set of magnets. And I'm going to grab, I think some small ones should work, hopefully. I did get an order in from Country Craft Creations with the large magnets. I haven't opened those yet. So this is going to go on the back of this right closure piece. We will cover these with paper. And then it's going to fold over and attach to the one on the other side. And then it lifts up. There we go. So now we're ready to put this in the book, or we can go ahead and put the pattern paper on it and then put it in the book. So what it's going to do, it's going to go right there. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this outside of the book. I'm going to open it up and decide on what papers, and I'm going to look at my scraps and see what all we got here. So now let's put this in the book right here. And so the glue will go on this whole back piece. Open it up so we can get in here and burnish this back piece here. Cut a piece that's the length of the album, which is 6 inches. Actually, I had a scrap that was perfect size. I cut it 2.5 inches wide, and what we're going to do, we're going to glue this to the front side. May use some score tape to help hold it, and then we're going to bend it around. I'm thinking 2 inches would be better, so I'm going to trim this down to 2, just maybe 2 1/8. Okay, let's see how that looks. So it's going to go right there on this edge and then around the back. So it's okay if it's a little longer on the back, because you're not really going to notice that. So I'm going to ink the edges on this. I hadn't inked a lot on this album, just to save a lot of time. So, but I'm going to go ahead and ink this. And then I'm going to take my I can take 1/4 inch score tape, and I'm going to put it along each edge. measure. Okay. Now you know you do not put any glue in the middle. So let's do this first side first, and I am going to put just a little bit of glue alongside. Of that score tape. And then take the album. I'm going to place this where I want it to fit, about right, whoops. Make sure it lines up at the bottom. Right there. I'm going to burnish that down. And then I'm going to curve this around. I'm going to curve it, leave a little bit of a space in there. So I'm going to peel this off. And again, some glue. And I think this will need more glue here on this side. And we're going to curve it around and make sure we get it on as straight as we can. In front of this, I used a bit of the lace, piece of the lace. I just glued it down here on the edge, left it loose on the side. I used bits of paper that were leftover scraps, some of the stickers, some of the cut aparts. This is scraps of paper. This was the inside of the ephemera card that I cut the center out to make the frame for the box, for the secretary box. These are the Graphic 45 roses. I flattened them down as flat as I could because I want to make sure that this fits in my secretary box. This is glued on so that it kind of leaves a space in there so that it has dimension. These are some gold sparkly gemstones that I had in my stash. And this little thing, I think I already told you, is 4x6. So it's really a lot of fun to make out of your scraps of paper. I have enough scraps. I could probably make several of these. I'm going to do one right now, but I'll keep my scraps. You just never know. So that concludes my tutorial for this little scrapbook junk journal book that goes inside of my secretary box. I've had so much fun with these 3 projects. Thanks so much for watching.